pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Getting started here, of course we all want to pass our condolences to Juju and his family in Pokey. She can't be here tonight, and he sent us we sent flowers. He sent us a nice card, thank you card. I'll just read it. Thank you all for the flowers, food, and gifts. We want to also thank you for all your prayers and support, Juju, Pokey, and Gage. All right. I'm going to address the council and the public that we refrain from asking questions until we get the city business done. And we also have Clay here to explain the insurance. We want to get all that taken care of. Then we'll go back around and get any questions at the end of the meeting. Or any comments you might want to make, we can do it then. Okay. Now, everybody's got their packet, all your city council, with the February. You might say on your agenda January 2011 meetings, but it meant to be February. I made that mistake. You didn't do it, did you? So everybody got a copy of that? Of the the February 11, 2011 minutes?
Yeah.
Need a motion to accept it?
Motion.
Second.
Motion second. Motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Minutes accepted. Treasury report. Everybody got a treasury report on the desk? Have any questions on it?
We're still waiting on that bond for Mike, aren't we?
I just got it.
You got it.
It was
Just
just
got
laying
it.
on my desk, yeah.
On the Commonwealth of Kentucky, the two that's on here, what were they? 6983 on one.
You talking about the bills?
Oh, I'm on the deposit. Sorry, picked up wrong paper.
Let's get a motion on the treasury report. Everybody see the treasury report? I need a motion on it.
I'll make a motion to accept it.
Second.
Motion made second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. On the treasury report, now we've got to pay the bills. Charlotte?
Okay, let's pay bills. On that, let's see here, you got the Commonwealth of Kentucky, it's on here twice, 6983 and 77283.
Under deposits or?
It's on the deposits. We also got one on the last page, yeah, 258.33.
The 258.33, that's, the incentive that Ed gets every
Okay,
year.
that's what I thought that was, because I didn't mark it.
And the other ones, off the top of my head, I can't tell you what they were for. They sent us a check for it.
Used to, until the first of the year, we had bills go around every month where we could see them and things. How come we don't do that anymore?
Well, we decided to pay the bills as they come in.
Yeah, I know, but I think it would still be a good idea if we seen it even though, you know, they're paid, we can still see them.
Well, you mean, what it's for, or whatever?
Well, like before, we had the ones that were paid and the ones that weren't paid, but we still, that was brought by Rick and Lisa up, that they wanted to see them all the time, so we started seeing them, and now we don't see them no more.
Actually, that was Melinda.
Well, anyway, we were seeing them.
Yeah.
What I thought it was myself was that being now that we had a finance committee, that was gonna save the time. The finance committee would have a chance to check all those with them being itemized here. That was gonna save the time throughout the council meetings.
Well, I mean, you know, if it's not majority, if the majority don't wanna see them, that's fine with me, but I'd like to know whether anybody else wants to see them or not.
Well, now, you might, all your regular bills that we have,
Uh-huh.
Carrollton Utilities, 940, what else did you want to see on that?
Oh, we always seen the phone bills, everything.
What we did was, they were stapled and laid on the table, we passed them around, so from now on, just make the actual bill and lay them on the table.
It just saves
Anybody wants to
time,
see
I
it.
mean,
Well, actually, we didn't really take up the meeting time, we just sort of passed them around, the meeting went on.
meeting went on, but
Yeah.
you had to take your time to read it.
Yeah, yeah.
And
But
that, with that,
sometimes, there's some in there that, you know, you kinda like to look at.
I mean, I can understand, I agree with that, but the problem where the way it had been before is you keep discussing, talking, and then if you're trying to root through the bills, you can't keep track of what's on the floor at the time. You know, whoever's looking at the bills at that time. I know it was tough for me to try to
I
look
just
through the
thought it
bills
was
and-
easier that way, but if you want to see them, you're more than welcome to see them. This shows every single check that is made, that was wrote out for the month.
I know.
I mean, if you want to see them, that's not a problem. I just thought it was easier that way, everybody had a chance to look at them before you actually even got to the meeting.
Well, like I said, it's a thing as to whether any of the other council members wants to see them or not.
Well, that's what your all's privilege is. I mean, you know you're gonna have these same bills every month. They'll be a little bit different in them, but we just move the meeting along by paying them ahead of time. She's down here a couple times a week, and that way you're not late on a payment or nothing. You're getting it all done.
Well, why not just go ahead and just have the actual bills laying, if somebody wants to look them
We-
over, they can from now on.
We get a copy of
Yeah, that
each
way you
bill.
get a copy
if you wanna
of
look at it.
Yeah. You know, somebody wants to see it, one or all, and they
I
can
might
look
be
at
able
it.
to do that, just staple them together.
Like
Go ahead and do it the way they're done.
They'll be here to explain just what it's about.
If anybody wants to see them, they can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd just like to say if we are going to go back to that again, that we hold the meeting up until everybody gets a chance to read through it. If we're gonna go back to
Well,
doing it that
like
way.
Lisa just said, if you're not interested in looking at them, you don't have to.
You don't have to.
It's not something every council member has to do.
If I get here early, hear me talking, I can be looking at them.
All right, let's move on to pay the bills. Y'all got a chance to look at them?
Something else I wanted to ask you, on the Kentucky utilities, I know that's an automatic draft, and we're showing them, we got them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, is that 2 months? Where you're showing Kentucky utilities?
Utilities.
Did I put it on there twice?
No, it's different figures. On the bills for February. they
Oh,
show
those
first page.
last ones are probably March's that I put on there. Yeah, those will have to go on next month, sorry.
Okay.
What the two last ones?
Yeah.
I'll do the back page. One's on the back page, yeah, and then on the other page,
You want
they're
to-
March's bills.
Okay, need a motion on the bills.
Make a motion.
Second?
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion passed, bills paid. On this bills, I talked to our CPA, he came up to the house Saturday, had a meeting with him, and February 28th, they deposited $53,820.42 into our account to pay AIA and EIA. And you asked me what EIA for, it's the same thing I asked her. She don't know. She knows it's an abbreviation for the company that installed or whatever those deals in your pump stations. Anyway, we got a bill from her, from Tara. She wants to get paid $2,400, and the rest of that, which would be $51,420.42, goes to that other company. But I talked to CPA and I said, where's the money at when they get the cleanup done? And trust me, we need some cleanup. We went up there and looked at Cemetery Road, and it's a mess. I mean, they're gonna have to haul a bunch of topsoil in, they got a lot to do there, and some of that has sunk so far, it's built up and the water's running back in towards the house. And they've been fighting that. We went up and talked to a bunch of people and looked it over and took some pictures. Rick went with me, we checked it all out, and they're not mad, they just want it fixed. And I said, well, we'll have it, it's supposed to be completed, done, before we give them, before they get their final payment. Because you pay a construction company the final payment, you might not see them no more.
So that's why they hold that 10% retainage.
Where's it at?
They, whoever's controlling the bills.
Carrollton
they have to-
Utilities?
Until you sign off on it, that retainage. should
Yeah, but
be
I ain't
there.
got nothing in writing. And our CPA advised us, hold on to that $53,000, do not pay this bill, and I'll have an issue to send them a letter stating the fact. And when we get something in writing to show that my construction, the final payment, I think we're gonna hold on to this and not pay it until it's done. And maybe they'll get a hold of them, you know? But we ain't got nothing in writing, we ain't got nothing, when this goes out of our bank account, we're done.
Whoever controls the money should be controlling the retainage on it.
Carrollton Utilities.
Yeah, they
Carrollton
control it.
Carrollton Utilities, but we ain't got nothing right to show that.
You probably need to talk to Carrollton.
I left a call, she had a death in her family, she's supposed to call me back today, but, I was gonna tell her that we was gonna hold up on writing that check until we got something.
Contracts like that are usually get 10% held back until everybody's satisfied and signed off on it. And then they release that retainage.
Correct, but what I'm just trying to say, Mike, is our city don't have nothing to state that fact. And I would think, you know, if we put a little pressure on these people, if they want their money, which it is their money, but we have to write the check. But maybe they can give us something in writing showing that 10% is held back, because they have got a lot of work to do here to clean up, they really do.
The contractor have been paid in full, is it?
No, they haven't been paid in full as far as, they're supposed to have, like you said, they got money coming yet. But what I'm saying is, our city, us, we don't have nothing in writing to,
I thought all the control was given to Carrollton, and we basically were paying Carrollton Utilities. I mean, am I
Yes,
wrong?
You're right. Now, what we did is we agreed to give Carrollton, the last grant, $200,000, and the portion of, what was left of $400,000. We did that by letter of agreement. We did not stipulate that any conditions on the contract. That was between Carrollton Utilities and the contractor. City of Glencoe did not sign no contract for sewer
Yeah.
at all. We did not have the right to
but
do
the
that.
citizens are gonna be knocking on our door.
Well, unfortunately, that's the bad sign of living in the
And-
city.
I don't wanna release that money until we get something in writing from them that they are holding it.
Well, then you're gonna be in breach of the agreement the city of Glencoe made with Carrollton Utilities.
Do we have that contract?
It's just a simple letter saying the city of Glencoe will commit X amount of dollars to the sewer project.
Where's that
Where's
letter?
that?
When
It's
we
back
did
in the
next
sewer
meeting,
file.
when we next meeting at Carrollton Utilities.
When is your meeting?
On the quarterly, that should be April, sometime in April.
Well, that next meeting, bring it up that they got to come up there and give us the contract. If we sign off, they're gonna finish it up at their expense. Glencoe ain't gonna be responsible for it.
See, we all don't remember, Carrollton signed the contract, period. Wasn't
Yeah,
the
but Glencoe
contract.
writes a check, period, so,
No,
you know, so Glencoe shouldn't write checks.
You're missing something. Glencoe is not writing the whole check here. Carrollton had to come up with over $2 million. So don't think Glencoe's paying the full tab of this. Carrollton's come up with the $2 million to help get this project done. Our agreement to them was we would commit what money we had in grant and what we had left, so we can get the sewer up Cemetery Hill and the University. That's what the council agreed to.
Mr. Murphy, how can we find that letter? Do you remember the date?
It's back in the KIA file,
Okay, KIA 5.
yes.
Okay, okay. Is this a big file we're
It's-
talking about?
It's
Should it be in
in
front
a
of the
big
file,
envelope,
or-
it's in a big
Okay.
envelope, it's marked KIA in front of it.
Okay.
But the thing is,
I think
we
need to
committed
read
that
Yeah, we
money,
need to
Look
read
at
that.
what's written.
and what the council did at the end of the year was commit that money for this purchase, for this equipment, to be paid out of. You can't say, now we're gonna hold your money, because we're not happy. Fortunately, the city of Glencoe don't have a dog in this fight.
Glencoe got the money, so they gotta fight. As long as the money's in our bank, and we don't write no checks.
Well, you don't write the check, you're in breach of
You're a breach
contract.
of
Well,
contract.
Yeah, you just wanna be sued, go for it.
Yeah.
We've had this discussion before, the last contract where the council tried to withhold payment and was about ready to be sued. Each individual member was about ready to be sued. If you wanna do it again, go for it.
Now, the last sewer thing went in, they went off and didn't finish their job, and we still got a problem with it down here.
Well, unfortunately, you're gonna have problems with it now to the day you die.
Well, we shouldn't have if it'd been handled right, because you pay too quick. My dad always said, too bad paymasters. We pay too quick,
They
we
just-
never pay.
I just now got a bill for
If
it.
you just wanna hold
so
it out,
don't
that's
have to be
fine.
paid.
I don't,
When they finish the job right, I'll say, write a check.
you know, I had a man come to my house Saturday complaining about it. And I told him I had no dog in that fight. And I told him, who to go see?
That's the way to
And
do
that's
it.
where you ought to direct it to. If you don't
Carrollton
want to take the heat,
Utilities.
send them to Carrollton, that's where it belongs. They got the money, they get the heat.
What I wanna do is make sure these citizens here are, they don't know all this, they don't come to the meeting.
Well-
So, but we gotta, what we'll do, we won't send that in tonight, she's gonna research it here, and it's their money, they're gonna get paid. But, I wanna find that, we wanna find that bill, or find that agreement that you had with them, or the council had with them. And if we got that in writing, well, then we can release the money.
Why did the city, though, receive a bill from the contractor?
We didn't receive the bill. What we agreed to with the last meeting was commit the money where to go, the last portion of the money to go.
Right, which should go to Carrollton
You
Utilities.
go to Carrollton Utilities to pay for equipment for what they call a SCADA system. That's what council agreed to by resolution.
Well, Carrollton Utilities only get 2,400, the others goes to that,
Now, Carrollton Utilities don't get 20,
EIC. Not Carrollton Utilities,
MSC gets
MSC.
2,400, EIC gets 51,000
Yeah.
some odd change.
51,420.42.
Well,
Yeah.
the CPA informed us too that this was the final draw. It was deposited in February for
Out of
us.
the grant.
Yes.
Out of the grant. Grant's empty, because if I'm not mistaken, the last draw you got from me showed a zero balance.
Well,
Showed
this
a
was
dollar.
This
Well,
was made
Well,
in
it's zero
February.
balance on the
Yeah.
grant. There's a dollar
February
left in the
28th.
account. That dollar was put in to start the account up. That goes back to the city of Glencoe.
okay, we'll just table it and let her research this, find if we can find that in the cabinet, in the file back there.
Okay.
And if everything's done, it's good enough for you, we'll go ahead and pay them.
Just to let you know, I did talk to the city auditor too.
Yeah, she's,
In fact, I talked to him last week and the week before. I delivered everything he requested up to the end of December 31st. And I talked to him again, they asked if there was any problems with the paperwork he got. So my understanding is he's happy with it.
Well, he needs all the way from June to December.
I gave it to him, he already had it.
would you give it?
Since
to-
Saturday?
It was Saturday, he asked me for it.
I got the email home, I'll give it to you, but I had 5 attachments to an email.
Hey, Saturday, he come down, he wanted all these, so I told him we'd give them to him. So, to finish our 2010 audit. Apparently, I don't know, have you talked to him since then, or you got the email?
I talked to him today,
Okay.
and I asked him, you know, if he got the material I sent. He said, you said that's exactly what I needed.
But you sent these in.
No, I didn't send those, I don't have those.
Well, he told me he had to have those.
He needed to find out how the city was registering it, coming in and going out. That's what I said. The checks and everything, or the check numbers, where they went, what it's for. Where I was keeping them separate accounting numbers.
Well, if you're still having contact with them, shouldn't you, by rights, be contacting Jim, let him know where we're at on things, so they can keep us up on top of things? I mean,
I didn't call him, he called me, or he emailed me. I just did as a courtesy, because my name was on it.
okay, but I mean, it's the same courtesy, though. I mean, wouldn't it be right to help keep your name and everything clean, whatever, that you could just let Jim know where,
Well,
we can be on top of
if
things?
he talked to him, got the same message I got. Everything
My
was
message he told me is do not pay this, keep that
Well,
money.
that's fine.
I mean, it's their money, I wanna pay them, but
Yeah.
I wanna make sure we get a cleanup here done.
Well, I can tell you right now, Carrollton can say, well, we'll do whatever we want because you are not under contract with us. There was no contract between the city of Glencoe and Carrollton.
They can't come in here and tear this ground up and walk out and leave. I'm talking about Mac Construction. We got a
That's
whole,
between Carrollton Utilities and Mac Construction and the property.
it's also for us too, cause our citizens gonna be resident, came with us right
Yeah,
here.
but
No, what'll
I
happen,
think
what'll
we-
happen legally on it though,
I think
the
you,
city will
Might
not,
be legally.
the city won't be involved in it. It'll be each individual will have to sue them out, is what'll happen if I'm not, I'm
What
pretty sure I'm
happened-
right.
what everybody, I
I'm gonna
think,
have
is
to read this letter,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
what everybody failed to realize is when we started this project, we turned over the easements to Carrollton by deed.
Yeah.
It's all theirs. It's not ours no more. We conveyed our rights over to them.
But it had been mentioned with us turning that money over to them, that they was gonna see to it, that it was guaranteed to protect us, that everybody's
Well,
property
that's-
would be done. Now you're saying there's nothing?
I suggest you write a letter to the
But
city
the
of Carrollton.
contract, but the
letting them know.
contract is not with the city of Glencoe. We do not have a dog in the fight.
But that was part of the contingency of turning the monies over to the sewer district.
Our contingency was to get the sewer built for Glencoe.
If I remember right, well, let me go back on this. The whole idea behind turning it over to Carrollton was so that we did not have to go after it like we're doing right now.
Right.
I mean, that was the whole idea, so we didn't have to argue about it, we didn't have to do anything. Carrollton would take care of all, it's all their responsibility, the legality of it is all their responsibilities, the easements is theirs. That's my memory of what we sat here for months and months and months and talked about it here.
And we wouldn't be liable.
And we wouldn't be liable. And that's why the money was turned over like it was. Now you have the problem now to where we're at today with the situation, and we're still really not liable. But like you say, what's gonna happen is somebody's gonna start picking up the phone, and the only person they know to call is Glencoe.
City of Glencoe.
And you'll have to do one of two things to me. You're either gonna have to answer the phone and say, you know what, they have the easements, you'll have to call Carrollton, or we need to get everybody's address, take a form letter, have our attorney write it out and say, here's the situation.
We would
We know
approach
you,
Carrollton.
we'll back you, we'll help you, but it's their easement, it's their responsibility. I think that's the direction you're gonna have to go with it. That would make more sense than anything, because,
My direction, they're in the city limits, and we should, support them in it. We shouldn't pay until they back up the deal. Because let people in the cemetery look for us to get their job, your
yeah,
yard.
they ain't looking at Carrollton Utilities.
All right, through the contract, that we should support them, say when they get it done, you let us know, and we'll sign off on it. They're in the city limit, and we should stay behind.
but are we willing as a city
We'll
to pay
do whatever it
for,
takes.
an attorney once we
got
get
attorney sitting
sued?
right there.
That's, it's
I
completely
all
different.
Jim's
It's
wanting to
completely
do is
got
rattle
us
the
up there.
cage a little bit.
We
Yeah.
pay them.
Eventually gonna pay him, so it's kind of a moot point. I
Yeah.
mean, you're just trying to rattle the contractor's
That's
cage
exactly
a little
right.
bit.
I
So I
agree
would
with
say
that.
table it and just go on
Let
and do
her
what you're gonna
research
do. You're gonna
this
pay
matter.
it. I mean, they're not
I
gonna sue
ain't
you over
saying
a
not
month.
paying it, but we
No,
should
they're
stand
not gonna
behind them
say
till it's
that.
fixed up. Because they looking for us to do it. Y'all have the concrete, we need to stand behind our people.
And Tara, she talked real nice. She's very, very nice lady to talk to. She's very supportive. She said if you can pay it as soon as you can. And I told her, well, we will do that. But at that time, I thought that was part of the money. That, I mean, I know it belongs to them, but
We would've wished we'd had some leverage over the Hawthorne Street thing. I mean, even if we would've been in a little bit of trouble, we would still like to have had some leverage over them, because we ended up eating that ourselves, and, I mean,
Well, I look at it when
if
this
you're just gonna
money,
rattle their cage, then keep it for a month, maybe they'll get up there and fix it real quick.
yeah, that's, once we release that money, we ain't got no leverage, even though it belongs to Carrollton.
Actually, I don't think these even had the right to even discuss it, because this was already approved by a previous council to be paid.
It's gonna be paid,
that's
it
true,
ain't gonna be
too.
paid
No, I'm
back.
saying it was already been approved.
Yeah.
It was already approved to be taken care of.
Well, it can be paid, just not in a timely fashion.
The money just went in the bank the 28th
Yeah, I
of
know.
February.
The money went in on the new council's watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm the one that signed the draw and sent it in. It was done in my watch, actually.
But everything was supposed to be completed on your watch too.
Well,
and
you know,
that's not happened.
I can't help timing. You know how to take dealing with state.
I do. But we've had other discussions.
Okay, that's what we'll do, we'll table it, we'll find that note Mr. Murphy's talking about. And assures us that they will be, and if we have to, we'll make copies of it, give it to all the citizens.
The
That's who they gotta contact.
The thing in a nutshell, though, Jim, is that MSE is an engineering firm. They don't
Yeah.
really, I mean, they can possibly put some pressure on KU or Carrollton Utilities. But as far as contractually or whatever, we do owe them the money, which they will be paid, but, you know, let them know possibly that that's what we're trying to get them to put pressure on Carrollton Utilities. But they've done their part, and that's what the $2,400 is.
Yeah, I realize that, I realize that. But we're not gonna get sued in a month, so I'm gonna table it until, and we'll write the checks next month if we get everything
Well, it's,
Right away.
instructions.
at Mac Construction.
They're the ones that should come back and take care of it.
Oh, yeah, they're the ones who gotta do it, but
Because Rick's talking about
But they're holding,
utilities,
they're
you
supposed to
know,
hold
it's
10% or
construction.
some kind of final payment from them to get them to do it.
And Carrollton-
You pay them off now, and they're growing.
Utilities does that.
Sir, if you go back and look in the KIA file, you'll see all the draw requests where it shows 10% being excluded out of the amount that they requested.
Mhm.
It shows that in every pay estimate, where 10% is being held out. If I'm not mistaken, they just now dropped it down to 5%. But you can see the amount of money that's already accumulated that's being held.
Wait, it's close to 200,000 or something?
I don't recall where I paying.
Thank you.
1 month since I looked at the thing. But it's just, it shows in the paperwork where it's at. And yeah,
Okay.
no company is gonna walk away from 10%. Simple as that. They don't want a bonding company to have to come and finish the job, because that gives them a black eye if it's in the state.
Right, but we just wanna
But to
make
sit here
sure.
and argue about something that's already entitled to them, and saying you're gonna hold it, it's not right.
We're not holding it, we just ain't writing the check yet.
Well, if you're not writing the check, you're holding it. I'm sorry to say.
It's in our bank account, and we gotta sign off, we're gonna send them the money.
The rule was with bank account, it was 5 days in, and it's out the door. That's how we treated federal and state grants, 5 days.
I haven't seen no writing on that.
Well, that's a policy that I had ever since I've been running grants. It comes in and goes out. You know, you can do what you want with it, fine with me.
Let's move on.
And Jim, you was asking about that AIA, that's part of your, construction documents, I deal with them all the time. That's part of your pay request and your application for payment. And if Carrollton's, in charge of that, I would just, like you said, write them a letter, let them know whose property's gotta be fixed on our account for the city. Give it to them and let them take care of it. Because whoever releases that retainage, if they release it and everybody's not happy, that
Well,
person
let's
is
do this,
responsible.
let me get approved by council. And we make the motion, we go ahead and pay them, not tonight. And in case, before next month's meeting, we can have, if we get everything satisfied where we're at, and knowing that they're gonna clean this up and get their money, back instructions, that Veronica can go ahead and pay them. We don't have to, as long as I get approved tonight.
That's on the MSC.
Yeah, well,
Carrollton Utilities be the one paying MAC.
Yeah, we don't pay MAC, we really shouldn't have any contact with MAC other than if we have problems, which we
We owe-
should go through Carrollton and
we owe
Carrollton should go through MAC.
KIA $2,400,
That's MSC.
and EIC Systems in the amount of $51,420.42. We have that money, and we're gonna pay them. But, we get it approved, and we'll go ahead and, we can do that, can we? Go ahead and write the check. We don't have to write it tonight. If I can get it approved to write.
Maybe let's just table it for one more month. That's no big hurry. I mean, what do you think?
Well, I'll just call and tell them,
So let's check the paperwork out and
and
maybe
we'll
contact Carrollton
get you all the
Utilities.
check the next meeting. That's not what I was gonna do anyway, because we're not gonna, it'll take that long to get it all thrashed out and let you read it.
Let us find out for sure where we're.
Yeah. I make the motion to wait.
Okay, all in
Table it
favor?
from-
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We'll table this next month, and we'll pay them next meeting, okay? Okay.
I think they do it all over the. Yeah.
Okay, now, moving on, we do have the CSX renewal contract. I do have it, we haven't signed nothing or anything like that, and Rick had been talking to him off and on, and I'll let him explain it to you about who you talked to, what it was.
Yeah,
While I
I
was in the bathroom.
can't think of her name right now, Amy
Amy something, wasn't it?
Amy, somebody with CSX. When we spoke last month, the month before, they thought it was like 800. And I didn't know exactly what we actually were being paid. So anyway, we got informed that it was wrong, that it was up to 1,000. So I spoke with her, and now it's up to $1,100 per season. And the mayor's been speaking to Mr. Perkins, and Mr. Perkins has agreed to do the mowing per year for the 450, which will leave the city $650 that we can apply toward our own mowing or whatever, but we will profit the $650 on the CSX now. So Mr. Perkins, from my understanding, he was acceptable with that, and so that'll help cut our costs on city mowings.
What
If
about
we can
the
apply to
insurance?
that.
Well, yeah, that's the only other thing. You're to require a certificate of insurance. That cost me $50.
Well, you already have that for this, right?
Nope, but that'll have to be separate because I also have to name CSX on it, even though the contract's with you. Additional insurer, I'll have to put you and put CSX.
It'd be $50 more.
Because that's what it'll cost me for certificate of insurance, because you got separate addresses. I mean, I can ask them, I mean, if it costs me more, then, you know, that's what it is. If it doesn't cost me more, then it's $450. I mean, is that fair enough?
He'd do it
That's
for
fair.
5 and the city still makes the 6.
Well, it's gonna cost you $50 more, you think?
I'm assuming it's going to, because every time I have to get a certificate of insurance, used to be you got a certificate of insurance free. I don't anymore. It costs me $50 every time I get one. And if that's the case, that's what it'll cost me. If not,
If that's the case, we'll be paying $500 instead of $450.
yeah.
That's fair.
All right, as far as anybody got a motion on the floor for it?
I make a motion.
Second.
Motion made and accepted. Steve's gonna do the
Vote, Joe.
mowing.
Vote.
Yeah, I want to get the motion right, or what we're talking about right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed, so that will be done. I'll sign that contract and send it back in.
Okay, I'll make one out for you. I'll call the insurance company tomorrow, and I'll have you one by Monday.
We'll have to have one, and like he said, we need,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I know exactly.
Your
Yeah.
insurance.
Yeah.
That would specify strictly like for the CSX, correct?
Right,
That would be
correct.
something we could copy.
Correct.
Thank you, sir.
And I don't know if you wanted me to send you a new one, since we have a new mayor, since Mike signed the other one. If you want me to send a new one for the property out here, or you just want to extend the other one?
Well, this is already under contract,
Yeah,
I guess,
right,
but
right.
maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess just add that, I don't know, would we just add that, because you have what, one more year on this one?
Yes.
And just make it, add with that, right, and then we do the visit, whatever, again, whenever it comes up?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, motion's passed. All right, now, in old business, we do have this deal about the ethics committee. And I know we had done sworn Mark in, but we didn't have an ethics committee at that time. We didn't know it for sure. And there was some disagreements on Becky still wanted it not, and I went and had a meeting with a judge exec. He said he's going to be sending every city a letter concerning this. Right now, we don't have no ethics board in motion. It's laying dormant until he gets all the bugs worked out of it, in which he will send me a letter, or us, the city of Glencoe a letter, Sparta a letter, and everybody a letter, telling us that you can appoint or have somebody come in if you want somebody on the ethics board. So, well, I take it, we haven't got nobody, either Mark or Becky, until this is passed, and we get a letter, and then we come back in, and then get, then we'll have to get somebody come in and apply for the job.
But Jim,
Now, you need to talk about it?
there is two people on the ethics committee right now. That's George Zubeidi and Terry Caldwell. Now, they are ethics committee. I don't know.
For what? For who?
Well, George is from Warsaw, and I don't know if Terry was appointed from,
George is city, Terry is county.
okay. I know there's two already on there, and I'm not quite sure just how that works, but like, we received a letter saying, we needed to appoint somebody to it. And that's when we appointed Becky. The council voted on it, and she was here. During that time, Becky hasn't attended any of the ethics committee meetings or anything, and I understand she's been sick and things like that. But then we went on and swore Mark in which, like you said, you went and talked to him, but in all reality, I think we just need to vote or make a motion to remove Becky from it. She's not contributed to it any whatsoever.
Well, what's the legal situation on that?
Is the committee formed right now, or are you saying that it's gonna be an entirely new ethics committee? Is that what the judge exec is telling you?
Judge exec's telling me that he's gonna be sending out a letter. He said, as far as I'm concerned right now, it's gonna be, they'll send every city a
He'll
letter,
send the same
having
thing
them, if you
we
want
got.
somebody on the ethics board,
Then to appoint them.
and you don't really
Yeah.
appoint them, you have to put something in the paper to have somebody come in and apply for it.
Right.
But basically what it is, very few people want the job. It's a non-paying job.
Yeah, it don't pay
You
nothing.
know. But you do need, if you're gonna have somebody on the ethics committee, you need somebody that will attend those meetings.
Right.
But right
Ethics-
now, they're not meeting, they're not
Yeah,
functioning,
they met.
are they?
Yeah, they
When
have
was their
met, but
last
there's
meeting?
just two of them. I'm not sure. And see, they can't do anything without a quorum. They're just like us. If you don't have enough, at least 4 people.
Judge McFarland told me they're not even meeting. He said he's revamping the whole situation and taking out a lot and adding a lot, and he said, we're not even meeting now.
Well, I know
He
they
said, I'll
have
send
met.
you, yeah, but when? Back when Kenny French was in there?
I think 2 years ago
Well,
they did.
supposedly,
No,
it's an
they've met
inactive
since
board,
then.
is what, well, I talked to Kenny once before on this, and it's an inactive board, which he considers it totally inactive, so that's why he's gonna form a new board, because it isn't inactive. So anybody that is on it, that somebody still wants on it, they have to be reappointed
Yeah.
to it by whatever area it may be, which is what Jim is saying.
Yeah, and I would think that we would wait, my recommendation would be to wait until this letter comes in to show that a committee exists and is formed. And once that happens, then I think we should, as a council, you all need to make that motion. And, if it's gonna be him or whoever, I mean, we can do that oath again. I think we just need to start new and say that right now, it's an inactive committee, nothing's happening. And so we need to wait until the committee's actually formed legally. That'd be my recommendation.
I believe right now the confusion is with the ethics board is that they've been meeting, the two have been meeting with the county attorney, but the county attorney, if you ask for the minutes to the meeting, there are no minutes. And that's why it's been classified as kind of inactive at the moment.
But they have met, haven't
They have met.
David, Terry, and
Yeah,
George.
But there are no minutes.
I met with
So
Spike
really,
down there too.
So they're
I think
illegally
we all
meeting.
went and seen it.
Spike has been in on it.
It needs to
Yeah.
be an open meeting. I
Spike
mean,
told
they
me
need
that
to.
wasn't, I'm sorry.
No, go
But
ahead.
Spike told me down there that, they're gonna have a, they're gonna be meeting. He didn't say they met, but he said, as of right now, we're not taking no minutes and we're not doing that. They might have met,
You just,
but it wasn't. He
Sound like
said,
something they started and it just fell through it, because nobody was attending the
They
meeting.
couldn't get anybody to attend
Right,
outside of Terry and George.
How long did that term last? 2 years or 4 years or last time?
4 years.
4 years, I
4
believe.
years?
I think.
Yeah.
And
I think we're
how
gonna
long has
take our,
been since Becky been on? 20 years.
2.5 years.
We appointed Becky
2.5
So
years.
she got 2 years left on her term, basically.
Well, Becky wasn't actually swore in.
Yeah, she was. She was.
Yeah, she was.
to. We swore in here that
I
night.
thought you said she wasn't swore in.
she was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
now I talked to Becky on the phone and she said she still wanted it. She told me, I said, well, we're in a predicament here. We didn't think you was, Mark, led us to believe that you wasn't gonna take it, that you was sick. She said, well, I have been, but I've been thinking it over and I think I'm gonna stay on it. I said, well, actually, there is no committee right now. It's in dormant. It's what Judge McFarland told me, and it's what Spike told me also. Said it will be eventually. And he said, when we get that letter, we'll know it. So right, like Alicia said, our attorney, maybe we are waiting to get the letter now. Still want on it, or should we have,
When was she sworn in, Mayor?
I'm sorry?
When was Becky sworn in?
What was, y'all know that?
It was over 3 years ago. I was on council.
Does anybody know how many
Well, I
meetings
was
she's
on
attended?
council for 2
She's
years.
not attended any.
We
That's what I thought the issue
called a
was with the
special
ethics
meeting
board
just
now.
for that, and I was on council then. So it's been about 2.5 years, I'd say.
It's not been 3
Okay.
Well, see, you still have the same situation. We're talking an ethics board, and if she hasn't attended,
You're gonna be in the same situation in 4 years
you're
from
gonna
now.
be in the same situation. So if she hasn't attended, whether the board's inactive or they're forming a new board or whatever, you actually can probably remove her. I mean, I don't know what they're, you know.
Well, yeah, we put her on there.
Yeah, it's a 4-year term. It's up to you all.
But it's still, yeah, it's still up to you all, whether it's a 4-year term or all. If she hasn't attended any of the meetings,
Oh, is that mine?
then she's
We
basically
didn't remove her from neglect.
neglect, yeah.
That's how
That was the word I was looking for.
The
Thank you.
mayor has to do it since he is the appointing authority.
Well, how many times you gotta miss before you can be removed? Or
Well, how many she attended? None?
No.
Well,
She hadn't attended none, but
Is it legally a meeting if nobody's taking minutes? I mean, is it legally a meeting?
That's the
They
problem.
meet.
Yeah.
Well, that's the issue right now. There's not enough to take minutes.
It can't be a legal meeting if you ain't got people showing up to have a form to begin
That's
with.
true, but even then, you're still having, somebody's taking minutes and making it a public record, a matter of public record.
But
So without
if
the
you've
minutes,
been
it's not
notified to
existing.
show up and you don't show up for what you're notified for,
No?
It's a waste of time.
You're
Scott.
neglecting
I'd
your
wait for the
duty.
letter.
That part's
For
true,
what
but
you
I'm
have
saying
to
as a
do.
board, even if we don't have a quorum here every time, she
Zoning
will be here
commission.
taking minutes, and there will be still, it'll be official whether it was not a quorum or there was. So,
it's not official if there's not a quorum. It's not official. She takes a minute saying, lack of quorum, period. It's over.
there's a trail through the minutes is what I'm
But
saying.
it's not an official meeting.
It's not legal.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Not
Did
legal.
the
It's-
judge say
it's called-
how long
it's
before we
called
get
law.
this letter?
he didn't say for sure. He said within, he's talking months, not weeks, to me. So I don't know. He's doing a lot of revamping when he told me that there's a lot of things in there he's taking out. There's a lot of, pat you on the back and I'll put you in stuff, and I don't know why I don't pay nothing, but he said, I'm taking all that out. Your brother, if I'm in there, I'm not appointing my brother to this or my cousin to this, and that's what it's all about. The good old boy stuff is coming to an end with my father, that's what he said.
Can I ask a question? What happens if the state notifies you and asks you, who is a member on the ethics board? Because ethics board, you gotta have that in place, have a member, because if you start getting federal or state grants, that's one of the things they look at, see if you have an ethics board.
That's true.
Exactly, you're gonna lose money,
But
you know.
here's the problem, what you're into already. You have somebody that's not attending the meeting,
This is the very words he told me. I got to get this ethics board up and running or we're gonna lose money. Now, he's talking about the, we can't do nothing about it.
Well, see,
Sure we
that's the reason we appointed them, because the company could lose money, because they didn't have an ethics board. That's the reason I had to call them in here for a special meeting, to get this person in for a county-wide ethics board,
But y'all had an ethics board back then.
to the county,
Yeah,
same
same
people.
And the only two people showed up were the same two that were showing up before we appointed one.
But what I'm
How
trying to
could they
get
have
at,
a meeting, they didn't have a quorum?
what happens in the
They would
meantime
go,
if there's
but
no
there was
ethics
not
board or no
nobody
member
there
in
except
place,
the two of them.
and the state says, okay, we got money available, but we can't give it to you because you have no member, or you don't have no ethics board.
The first people they're gonna say that to is the county, because we can't go to an ethics board meeting, we ain't got no board to go to.
But then you lose out on any kind of state or federal grants because you have no ethics board and you don't have no member.
That's why I'm saying, though, Mike, it's a county to the county, it ain't up to us.
Well,
We
yeah,
put-
you
it's a
have,
catch-
We put somebody on it
situation.
soon as they got a board.
but you make the opportunity of having the person available. You have a member.
We do have, already.
You have a member that's neglect.
She can't go to a meeting if there ain't none.
She didn't go to a meeting when there was.
Well, I agree with you, I know that. So, the only thing we can do, she's still on it right now. And the only thing I can do is have Alicia write her a letter and, but what am I gonna, you know,
Well, what is your opinion, Lisa? I mean, with all these legal problems tonight, I mean, what's the solution we should do?
She probably wants to go home.
Well, I understand what Mr. Murphy's saying, but I think you could probably rest on the fact that in the books, go look at the minutes, she's been appointed, okay?
Yes, she has.
So, you know, that covers you that way, okay? But with this board being inactive, I really would wait to see what this judge executive is forming, and then I would
wait for his letter.
make the motion to nominate whoever you want to nominate.
Would that not work out the same thing as we have it in the minutes or in the newspaper every month? We have a board of adjustments. Who do we have on that? And when does that ever meet? I mean, my wife was put on it, was never sworn in, that's why she
Next
walked
board,
away.
I think he's on it.
They all quit. They all quit.
But there, it's still in the newspaper. I mean, so
Yeah, it's
it's
still
there,
there.
it doesn't mean it's happening or it's active.
I would wait
It's
for
not
that.
active.
I asked to be on it way back when, and it never was, never heard no more about it.
Is that something we can
Why don't we
put on
send
the
a
table
letter?
again to get the letter, for the official letter?
I say we wait till we get the letter from, Mr. McFarland, and, then we can start that.
Why don't you send?
Right now, we do have somebody on it.
We've got two on it. His and hers.
Well,
Becky and Bart.
But it's a 4-year term though.
Why don't you send the judge executive a letter from the city
Right, we got two
that
servers.
says, we would like more information on the ethics board due to the fact that the possibility we're looking into some, even though we're not, you know, or maybe, or could be, I don't know if you are or not, but you're looking into the possibility of grants, and this has to be in place before we can apply for any grants. That way you've covered the city's tail, and
Well-
you forced him into at least pushing it a little bit farther.
I don't think we can have but one on the ethics, well, I guess we could have more, but that's all we've had on it, one.
It's supposed to be one member.
One member.
Based on one member, and, we swore Mark in illegally because we didn't have a resignation from Becky. That's what it boils down to. So actually, Mark
Can I
is in
use your
that.
policy now?
Mark and I talked over here about it the other night. Remember that, Mark? And you said was no problem
Daytime.
about it, huh?
Daytime.
Daytime? Well, whatever it was. But we talked about it, and I said, Mark, I don't know what to do. I mean, you really, we shouldn't have sworn you in, and Alicia said that wouldn't be no problem. It was, that she's still on it. After I found out she's still on it, she didn't want a letter, she wouldn't give me no letter of recommendation. I mean, she's still on it, even though she ain't been no meeting.
Well, I think if we ever do get one on there, it'll be in the minutes that they got to apply so many meetings or they would be kicked off.
Well, we can
They
send
got
her a letter, and
if they want to stick to
Well, I ain't
responsibility, they got to live up to it.
I ain't missed a meeting in 38 months.
I know that. I mean, you know.
we can send her a letter and try to remove
On
her
there,
from
and
it.
and we are allowed to take her off.
Well, I mean, the only reason that you're in this situation is because she's one of the members that didn't attend in the first place.
First place, that's why there's no ethics board.
That's what I said, once this comes to head.
So I guess choose wisely.
Well, they changed regimes down there, they got a new judge in there, and he didn't like the way the things were being run before, and that's why he's changing. That's the very words he told me.
Yeah, because they haven't been meeting. Because they can get the ones that everybody's appointed there.
To show up. And he
How
said,
many's totally on the board though? It's just not her that's not showing up, there's other people.
oh, there's several of them ain't showing up.
So, I mean, you can point the finger at her.
Yeah.
But she's
Well,
just
you've
when
you've
it's like,
actually got one for Sparta, you're supposed to have one for the city of Glencoe, you're supposed to have one for the city of Warsaw, and you're supposed to have one for the county.
And the only one we're interested in is one from Glencoe that
Right.
hasn't been showing up. We can't
but
do
if she was
anything
the only
about
one not
it.
showing up, they'd have had a quorum.
That's what I said, they didn't have one
Yeah.
from Sparta or here.
Yeah.
They,
So-
but we can do something about this one over here.
Yeah.
Shelf it till next
Maybe,
week.
and you might need to, call her on the carpet and tell her she has a responsibility.
I basically think she don't really want it, but she don't wanna give it up, and I don't know why. I mean, she,
Or just send them a letter, they said, let's go.
well, let's move on, we'll wait till we get that letter, we'll get on to that. All right, new business, delinquent taxes. We're gonna start sending letters out to property owners and businesses for the ones who hadn't paid their taxes. Stating that, trying to get them to come forward and pay their taxes. Now, might have something else in the works there that you Jude's talking about, but anyway, I guess we'll wait to find out for sure on that. About county collecting them themselves. Anyway, I just want to make a note of it, that we're going to be sending, Veronica, we're going to be sending out letters to the ones that hasn't paid the taxes. And, I don't know how we can threaten them, but you can tell them, put a lien on their property.
A tax lien can be attached to the
Can be
property
set.
that it probably won't be paid until they turn over the property.
Right.
Can't you sell her
They can
taxes?
sell the tax bill
Yeah.
at the courthouse.
Right.
Companies normally
That
buy
way you
those.
get your money and then they're stuck whenever,
We have to go through some type of a legal motion.
that would be it.
What was that?
Try to check out how do you enforce it?
There are different ways. I was trying to pull the statute up, but basically the city has the right to put the lien on the property. And there are different ways to go about it. You actually file the foreclosure yourself as a city. You can, like you're saying, sell the right to these other companies. But how has it been done in the past? Is there an ordinance that the
There's an ordinance
city?
that actually controls it, but what me and Linda did, we tried to work with every property owner to collect. We made a lot of success, I think, last year in collecting a lot more than we did in previous years. So, I think there's a way that the city can sell the tax bill to a tax bill company. We've already had people wanting to do that.
But there's no ordinance on the
There
record
is
that
there is
you
an
all have?
ordinance. There is an ordinance in place,
There is,
yes.
okay,
Back in Allison Wonderland.
okay. Do you know when is it? How we can locate that, in other words?
Back in Allison Wonderland.
That's a big envelope.
I can probably get you a copy. I think I may have an extra.
Okay. Do you remember round about what year the ordinance was put into place? It may help.
Early 1900s? 1984. Yeah, what the city done, instead of renewing the ordinance, we just did the tax rate every year, renewed the tax rate. But the ordinance is still in place. In fact, we sent a copy to Frankfurt this past year. I assume they're kosher with it.
And that ordinance is the one that would allow us to place a lien on.
I believe so.
I need to dig that out, put that on my to-do list. Try to-
Does anybody know the dollar amount that is delinquent?
Well, next thing on the agenda here is the wireless
Yeah.
internet.
Jim, does anybody know the amount that is delinquent for city taxes?
A lot. 14 grand.
Well, it's come down. It was higher than that.
I do.
It was, it was up to 25.
We got a lot in, really, but, wireless internet, which we do have now, or here's the deal, we need to pass it. For $105, this is all of our phone, this includes everything. Wireless internet, and due to our good citizen Boyd Lineberger, he's gonna run a line, separate line inside for our fax machine. We're gonna save about $150 at least for that.
Sign a contract.
He's in that business, so he's gonna run that. That will save us money, but they're gonna come up, if we pass this, they will be coming up, was it Wednesday? Wednesday, and hook it up, of course you can have internet, and we can have, all of our phones work now. You can be anywhere at home, anywhere. I can get messages off this phone. Council can too. You don't have to be here to answer it.
Does that include a line specifically for the fax?
Yeah.
Yeah, separate lines for fax.
Good deal.
Yeah.
That's for
It
everything.
includes
Phone,
it.
line, everything. Cheaper than mine, a lot cheaper than mine, you know?
Is that a package deal?
That's a, is it a bundle? Isn't it a bundle?
I talked to them and she said the best way to go in, she said with the phones and all, and wireless internet for the printer and the laptop, $105. But actually, it was cheaper, like $10 going this way than the bundle. So it's cheaper, about $10 cheaper.
Yeah.
It's a 2-year contract too. And at the end of the 2 years, it will still stay the same amount if we renew the contract, not going up.
Yeah, they're not allowed to raise, they won't raise
It'll
it.
stay the same price.
Okay, well, what do we use the internet for in the city building?
I have a wireless printer, and when it's raining and stuff, I can't get on the internet to print. Like, print all this stuff.
Remember, you wanted her to get on eBay to look for stuff too. Remember you saying that?
I mean,
Well, I
there's-
said we could go and say.
Yeah.
Well, you have to have
Doing
internet.
any research for grants or anything, you have to go online to do it.
I was wondering what the purpose of it is.
Well, and two, that QuickBooks Pro, that program that we bought, I'll need internet for that too.
Yeah, you have, for your backup, for any of your renewals, you have to have it. It's the same thing I've got.
Okay,
Do you need a motion on that? or-
yeah, need a motion, need a second.
I'll make a motion.
Need a second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion granted, motion passed.
I need to know when Bell will be here,
Wednesday.
this Wednesday.
This
They
Wednesday.
said if it passed, for me to call them, it'd come out Wednesday, so I'll call them tomorrow. And the time would be 8 to 5, so I'll try to.
Hey, they pinpointed it pretty good.
I guess I can call you when they're coming, when they're here.
They always do that.
Yeah. I gotta call them tomorrow.
Yeah,
Just a
I
little,
gotta think of somebody.
I got it on.
what did Pokey say anything about the Easter thing?
Now she,
I know she's sick right now.
well, she's waiting on some papers. People will give donations, tax write-off,
Yeah,
and the lady gives the papers, she's gonna go and get some donations. She wants to donate for the Easter thing,
okay.
and
When is Easter?
last Sunday in April.
24th.
We'll have
Right.
another meeting.
I think she's planning on having it, if anybody got nothing scheduled, the Saturday before that.
Saturday before the,
But she wants to get donations, she wants to have a paper where people can have it vote on.
good deal.
So this,
Right
Yeah,
before
I'm
we
gonna
had,
fix up the paper for us, a donation paper.
oh, you did?
I'm going to.
Oh, you going to? Right before we adjourn here, well, of course, Juju make some pies, we got coffee and free pie. But I do,
I got a cream man.
I will say a little thing, I've been working with, the area development company, talking to them, and then it's not in concrete yet, but I think we're gonna get a grant. Been talking to McFarland, our money part, whatever we come up with. Mr. McFarland said he'd just bend over backwards and give us all the help we needed with county employees to do the work, to pay for our cash if we have to come up with it. That's got his word on it, and ain't got nothing on paper, so
And that is for,
he's willing to help us. We're for a grant for the siren out here. And I got some paperwork to send in to her, prices and all, with an update with the fire department on their wiring. They ain't got enough wiring to handle what we're trying to get. And we're trying to get that sure too, so I gotta send it to her. This lady I'm dealing with up there is very, very helpful. Actually, there's two of them. And she was out of town the last 3 or 4 days, and she told me just as soon as I got them paperwork to send them to her or bring them to her, and she'd get on it. More about that later, cause it's not for sure yet, just trying. And, anybody got anything else to say?
Hey, Jim, I'd like to say something.
Okay.
I was approached by a person with concerns for the citizens of Glencoe. And I guess the reason they called me is because I've been a citizen probably longer than anybody else.
Probably so, yeah.
In Glencoe. But anyway, the concern was about the asbestos that was in the water lines that supplies the water to Glencoe. And it was questioned what the cancer rate was here in our community.
Right.
My family alone has had several.
It's very high.
And it supposedly, and I think it's been addressed in the past, about asbestos being in the water lines. And the water lines here, I know since I've been a citizen here 44 years, and the water lines were here then.
Mm-hmm.
So I know they've been here that long. I told this person that I would approach the city council with the concerns, how you would go about possibly contacting the PA or whomever, I don't know.
I totally agree with you, and I was told, well, it's wrapped, it can't get to you. I said, well, when it comes out of that water spout, it's not wrapped. And that asbestos, I don't know if it gets in the air or whatever, when that water comes out of that spout, it's nothing wrapped there. I totally agree with you. There's cancer all around us, including me. So, it's all around us, and way high.
I guess first that we'd have to do is have it confirmed that it is in our water lines.
Yeah.
Well,
And
actually,
then-
you
I
get
complained
state
about that
utilities.
10, 15 years ago, you know, and they could get the ball rolling. And it is asbestos pipes. It ain't wrapped, it's just made out of asbestos.
Is it really?
I had a sample of it down at my house. And I know 2 or 3 elderly women down here in this city with stomach cancer and never smoked a cigarette in their life. And they died of stomach cancer, you know.
I think there's something to it. I really do.
But I run up to a brick wall every time, but it's been concerning me for years.
You ever see that little phone number comes on TV? Have you seen it when we want to talk to? If you have any contact with asbestos, call this number.
You know,
We can represent your attorneys.
Yeah, it's a dirty attorney, I'm sure.
Well, I've been thinking.
Well, Jim, also in the past, and in some of the meetings we've had in the past, and I've been attending meetings here in this community for a long time.
Yes.
It was brought up, and at that time, they said, well, there was no, water company didn't have enough money to replace them, you know, such. But it being an EPA problem and such, no doubt there is federal grants that would assist, because asbestos is outlawed.
You can get a grant to replace
So,
it.
but it's a matter of looking into it and approaching the situation.
And there are 2 companies that runs this water, or is it just one now? Kentucky Water?
There's 2.
Well, we have water
Kentucky and
coming in
American.
from
Orton for a long time.
Orton, but we also got water coming in from the county. But
Kentucky
the
American
county
Water
lines,
Vault,
I suppose, was added, weren't they? And I, you know, so I take it that the problem consists of the old line.
Right, the problem is
That
in the
was
city
definitely
itself.
brought through Glencoe at
The
the
county,
time.
the county bought it from top of the hill down here right here by Melinda Poland. And then they shut it off over here on this side of the bridge. Because ours wasn't coming to Glencoe, now it's coming from Warsaw. that's why the water's much harder now. I want them to come out of a lake and it's softer water. But the asbestos line is still here in the city.
It's the line that is the problem.
And
is my
another problem we
understanding,
got,
not the
nobody
water.
know where the lines is. The man knew where the lines is, passed away, Jack Benny Courtney. Now, cause I work for state and we have them come in here and tell us where the line is, and they would show us the wrong place. We'd be digging for every water line, because they didn't, when they put these water lines in years ago, they didn't make no map, nothing of it. But Jack Benny lived here, and we go to him, he said, water line right in here, not what they showed you. And 99% he was right, because they're really not marked where they're at.
So who do we actually get our water from? Do we get it from?
We get it from Gallatin County. We get all water, we get all water from Gallatin County.
You do realize.
They sell water, Gallatin County sell water to American Reservoir. They shut the valve off over on this side of the bridge. And that's when they first put it in here a few years ago, they had so much pressure, they blowed a lot of lines in Glencoe.
Yeah.
And blowed a lot of hot water used out, they had so much
Has
pressure.
anybody noticed,
$600.
has anybody noticed better pressure the last couple of days?
It's always what time of the day it is.
Yeah.
It's better in the morning than it is.
all day.
What's
It's better
that?
in the morning
Well,
than
the
it is
question
at
is,
night.
if we're gonna address them about these lines, how come we can't address them about these water overs that they've never
Well,
replaced?
we called about that, and, because we had hardly any at all, and they come down, and they said down on Etheridge Lane, but the guy told us that they had been working with the Glencoe
Turning it up
in
some?
this area. No, they had a leak, and they couldn't find it. And he said they were losing like 30,000 gallons a day.
Well, I'll tell you what, the last 2 days, I've had great
Well,
pressure.
they found it.
I
They
ain't even
found
had
it.
to complain now the kids take the shot.
Mayor, you do realize with this asbestos thing, this can of worms that was just opened up here,
Oh, I know.
because we now as a city have knowledge of this, we have it, you know, everything else, so this puts us in the line for liability, down the
Well,
line
that,
somewhere, because in '77 or whatever year it was, is when they outlawed asbestos, and especially public utilities was supposed to be replaced at that time. And I think there was like a 20-year, whatever it was, I don't remember
what
now.
I'm saying is, Steve, we think we got knowledge of it. That's what we're getting to
Well,
now. We're not sure.
And that's why
I
you
think
really
we
need,
all-
you know, I don't know
I
who
think
wants to do it,
all
but
of us
start
ought to
contacting EPA and.
Think about who can we call?
Yeah.
EPA.
Well, you
Find
got-
out. EPA, or I don't,
Just call the water work, they'll tell you that asbestos.
yeah,
They'll tell you, 'cause they told me not, I've talked to them sometime when they have a leak and they leave a piece out, it's asbestos, they'll tell you.
really.
And now, when I was on council that time, I was working on the sewer, I wanna get a grant and run the water line and the sewer at the same time, just keep tearing the city up too much. Well, they said, don't open up no more eggs here, we'll have enough to go with the sewer. So they just pushed me back on that, but I tried to get it done when I was on council 8 years ago then.
That pipe broke right across the street from Rick's house, and we were over there talking to him, and they cut a section of asbestos out, this big,
Yeah, that's what I heard about
replaced it with plastic, and that guy told, we even questioned him about it, and he said the whole city of Lexington has the exact same pipe. He
Really?
says, not just this town, he says, a lot of older towns, he said the whole city of Lexington has the same thing.
What did he do with the pipe when he took it out?
They
I'm
took
curious.
They took
Yeah,
it with them.
When Betty had hers here just a few months ago, right across from your house,
That was
they guarded
gas.
that like it was gold, buddy.
That was
You ain't gonna
gas.
get into nothing.
No,
They
we
wouldn't
had
know what
water
you
line.
had.
Oh, you had water line too?
Yeah,
They
Had
don't
two
want
times
you
to
to
broke
know
that edge
that.
of the road.
I
Yeah.
don't think.
cross road from where the gas
Oh,
station.
no, they wouldn't let me get close enough. 'cause they wouldn't take
I'm
pictures
gonna go
and
back that TV I had and call that attorney. Well, I'm gonna-
That's because
Yeah, that's people claim they're sicko.
Well, yeah. I think they would
I didn't get
like to
sick
know
on
about
that down
this.
here.
Somebody would.
That's because they drinking out
All
of
right.
plastic lines and
Well, I
everybody
got
else
a-
drinking out. of
I got a
can
motion for adjournment. We got a 2-hour meeting here.
lines. Hey, Jim,
Second.
Second.
Hold on, man.
I was gonna say, Juju might wanna make a motion for, as far as Pokey, taking up donations for any kind of thing for your Easter or anything, just to cover your butt. Because if you don't make a motion and council approve it, because she'll be actually doing it on the city's behalf to hold it over here in the city park. I'm just saying, cover your butt.
Yeah, he's
I
right.
think we did that, didn't we? I put
We
on the
pointed, I
committee.
think the city pointed her to be over the
Yes.
activity to do that, raise money with that.
But that was just activities, it wasn't taking up money for them.
I'll make a motion. We'll pass it.
I make a motion before we go, I have to pick up donations to benefit the city.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, motion passed.
Hey, I've been there and done that.
I need a motion for adjournment.
Done.
All motion for adjournment, signify by saying aye. All opposed,
Aye.
motion passed. We're now adjourned. We got coffee.